Hi, folks. Welcome back to Pop Pop Fizzle. I'm Jeff.
I'm Heidi.
And we're back with the second episode of WandaVision. We just finished watching the first episode, so we're still riding that high. A lot of questions.
Still processing.
Yeah. So much to process there, including I love the fact that it was in the original aspect ratio of television.
Yes.
That was really cool. And then it widened to modern aspect ratio when we saw that sword logo. So yeah, I'm very curious about what episode 2 is going to be. Looks like it's still going to be in that black and white zone. So I'm curious as to, are we going to get 2 episodes in each time period? Is that how this is going to work?
Yeah.
Or is it only the first 2 and that's why they dropped them both at the same time?
I don't know. Like, when our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. were going through the time frames, they did tend to do 2 in each one. I feel like they would want to do that just to make it worthwhile to have the sets, but it is Disney, so
sure,
they can just shove piles of cash in a fireplace and be fine.
Is that how that works?
I think so.
I wish they'd shove some piles of cash in my fireplace.
Yeah, I wouldn't burn them
And
then.
that's not an innuendo.
I find it also very interesting that for these episodes we don't have titles. Like sometimes, when we're watching other series, they have specific titles to the episodes to kind of give you a little bit of a taste of what the episode is going to be about, and we're not getting that with these. So when I'm watching Deep Space Nine, the only time I ever look at the summary for a show is right before I'm about to watch. So I was looking at our list of shows here. I noticed that there were no episode titles for these, but there are summaries, so we can sort of know what's going to happen next, but hard to say. Like,
you mentioned Deep Space Nine. Are you watching that, Heidi?
I am watching Deep Space Nine. I had just started filming season 2, reacting to season 2. If you don't know, Deep Space Nine is a Star Trek spinoff that came out back in the 90s, and somehow I managed to miss it. So now I'm remedying that, watching it, and reacting it with you guys.
That's right. We're also watching Farscape, as she
Yes.
mentioned, and watching a few other things, including another series that we're looking forward to seeing how you guys respond to it. It's not out. It'll be out probably a couple of days after you watch this, so be on the lookout for that. And if you want to see the full-length reaction to this second episode of WandaVision, you can find that on Patreon. If you don't want to support us monthly on Patreon, or you're just not in the position to right now, that's totally fine too. We don't expect it. But if you do want to help the channel out with a one-time kind of thing, we put our Cash App info down there as well. Again, we're just happy that you're here watching along with us. That's enough for us, but we do make those things available if you'd like them. I am, if you watched our previous reaction to episode 1, I've got a lot of theories.
Yeah, you do.
Not that it's a demon, a dancing demon, because something isn't right there. But I do have some theories.
Well, it's not a kid in a Broadway nightmare either.
No, but I do have some theories about the possibility of Ultron being involved in this, or at least being somewhere in the background of this, but I could be totally wrong. I do know that from what I've heard that this series is going to help set up Wanda's appearance in Doctor Strange 2.
Yep.
So I'm curious where that's going to go.
In the mystery of the mouth,
The multiverse of madness.
Okay, I was like, that lots of M's there, which of course for Wanda is also an interesting sort of connection.
Right. So we're going to dive into episode 2. We're going to see what we can find out here, and then we'll come back and talk about whether we picked up any new info or not. What you can do is like this video if you enjoy this sort of content. Be sure and subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss episode 3 when we get to that next week. But also, we encourage you to comment down below. We love having interactions with you guys down there. We get a lot of that on Farscape and on Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, thank you so
and some
much.
of the other shows that we do reactions to. So we would love to talk to you about WandaVision and what your thoughts are, and also what your predictions are for where this thing is going.
Yep.
All right, we're going to dive right into episode 2. Here we go.
Yay.
Are you using your night vision?
I assure you, my love, I see nothing amiss. You have absolutely no reason to be... No! One of us should really determine the source of that sound.
Yes, one of us should. This is getting ridiculous.
And look how you seized on the opportunity to redecorate.
This is better, isn't it?
Wanda, darling,
Yes, dear.
get the light.
Aw, they're so cute.
A different house.
Mm-hmm.
I said the Cabinet of Mysteries.
Oh, that's my cue. Ooh. The talent show fundraiser is the most important event of the season, and it's our neighborly duty
Yeah.
to participate.
I'm trying to figure out what the symbol is.
That's his stone.
Oh.
I don't think that should be a problem.
This is our home now. I want us to fit in.
With you wearing this.
Oh.
Oh, that's actually the rest of your costume.
Yeah, I think this is very Bewitched.
She's wearing pants.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look. Something in color. There's that logo.
Mm-hmm.
Look, it's the star of the show.
Agnes!
Can I give you a bit of friendly advice?
Is it about the way I'm dressed?
Yes, but it's too late for that. Dottie is the key to everything in this town.
Dottie.
Country club memberships, parties, school admissions.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Just mind your P's and Q's and you're going to do just fine.
Or maybe I could just be myself, more or less.
Oh, Wanda.
Oh, did you recognize her?
No.
You will when you see her close up.
I hope so.
The Rotary Club is finishing the stage setup as we speak.
Hmm.
They've given the gazebo a fresh coat of paint and will be installing the final
Oh,
decorations all
familiar.
around town square.
It's Caulfield.
Recognize
Oh.
the footlights? It's because they're from my store.
And the chair.
It is.
The devil's in the details, Bev.
That's not the only place he is.
As you all know, the talent show is
Hmm.
the sole fundraiser for Westview Elementary.
All of this is for the children.
For the children.
The only reason I didn't clap is because I'm afraid to move. I actually don't know what I'm doing here.
I'm starting to feel that way myself. I'm Wanda.
I'm, Geraldine.
And I'm irritated.
Oh, splendid. Could you tell me how often you rotate security patrols? Do you interface directly with local law enforcement? What are your protocols regarding threats such as burglary, graffiti, and reckless driving?
No, Vision.
I know these are indeed grave matters.
New business actually means another round of Danish. Raspberry or cheese filled?
Neither for me, thank you. I don't eat food.
What? In the library.
I, too, have some top secret gossip to share. Norm here's a communist.
What?
Vision, you're a real cutout. You know, I always thought you were kind of a square.
Me? No, I'm as round as they come.
Is gum food?
Well, my understanding is that it's purely for mastication.
Oh, no, I don't do that.
In Westview. Cheers.
We actually thought you were serious.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Oh, wow. Oh, no. It's gumming up the works.
All right, so.
Well, I don't know what you have been told.
It's funny because her hair is very blonde, but her eyebrows are very not.
Any harm. I don't believe you.
Oh. Oh, no. Oh, hey, Red.
These are the same two people.
Uh-huh.
And his Strucker.
Huh.
Strucker. Huh.
Strucker. He'll make time for you.
What does it say?
Hydra.
Huh. What did the other one say?
Huh? Hydra, 1,000 meters.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, is that him? Oh, it looks like he's got a little
mind is giddy up.
Something strange happened with Dottie. Well, something strange happened before that, too. It's hard to explain.
I was just playing with his shoes.
What is going on?
Uh-oh.
I want to thank you all for coming out to support Westview Elementary for the children.
For the children.
And for our
Today, we will lie to you. And yet you will believe our little deceptions. Because human beings are easily fooled due to their limited understanding of the inner workings of the universe. Flourish!
You just do it. You don't say it out loud, honey.
Flourish.
Now my wife and I. Flourish!
Flourish.
Huh. See there? He's using a rope.
Oh, no. Oh, what?
Whoops! You weren't supposed to see how we did that trick.
Okay.
That was my grandmother's piano.
Sure it was. Oh, mirrors.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Shut up, Beth.
At least she didn't run screaming at the rabbit.
The Cabinet of Mysteries.
What did he say?
I don't know.
Box. What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Yeah, what's in the box?
What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Oh. Oh, ew.
On behalf of the planning committee, I would like to award you with the inaugural comedy performance of the year. Thank
And it was all
For the children. Well, I think the children might need some popcorn.
Or wonder.
What?
Oh.
Vision? Is this really happening?
Yes, my love. It's really happening. Wonder.
The music change.
Oh, yeah. And he's not. Oh, well, he went outside, so he's got his human face on.
No. Vision. Is this really happening?
Huh.
Yes, my love. It's really happening.
Huh.
Vision.
Oh.
Bewitched was a good show for this because it was in black and white first, and then it was in color.
Yes, it was.
Who's doing the sea, Wanda?
Making sure there's no extra scenes. Okay. Well, that's it for the second episode of WandaVision. Again, no title to this episode being given except episode 2. Which I think a lot of episodes of television back then didn't have episode titles.
That's true.
So
That's true.
it may be that they're just going with that. Heidi, your thoughts?
This was really interesting. I love that we were able to see a lot more humor with this, like the everything going wrong magic show. I am getting that they're putting a lot of thought into the setup for all of this. So what we're hearing, the commercials, the interludes where we know that something's trying to break in. I feel like Wanda may know something about what's happening, which is why when she saw something breaking through, she just said no and backed up completely. But I know that they're taking the time to do this. I have so many questions, like just what is going on is like the main one. So I'm just looking forward to seeing more. And I'm really, really sad that we only got 2 episodes and like Disney's the meanie that actually drops things every week instead of the whole series. But it's fine. It keeps their numbers up and it makes it like actually watching television. So it's fine.
Can I point out something of interest?
Okay.
What was our commercial this time?
Our commercial was for a watch.
By which company?
Strucker.
Strucker. Who is Baron von Strucker?
Strucker was the guy who made Wolverine.
No.
Are we sure?
Yes. He is, however, the guy that gave Wanda and her brother their powers.
Yes.
In which movie?
Oh.
Age of Ultron.
Look at you, bringing it all back together.
And and the last time we saw Strucker, because he died, was in Age of Ultron. So, I got to think that's not a coincidence. I'm very curious where they're going with that. And I'm very, very curious to see what the commercial is going to be in the 3rd episode.
Yeah.
So, again, with the red in a few instances here.
And then everything fading to like lots of reds in that color. I honestly didn't watching black and white, you kind of don't really think too hard about the clothing that people are wearing. I really didn't think that her whole outfit was red. Like, I would feel like that would be not something you would have seen in that time period, somebody wearing head to toe red. So that was a little jarring for me. I would have thought that it would have been like, it looked like she was just wearing like, maybe like black capris with like just like a neutral-ish color shirt and sweater set. And so to see them all in the same color was a little weird, but that's her color.
Sure.
Everywhere we've seen her, that's her identifying color. So it's fine.
Yeah. I like that the humor in this.
And Vision's colors were his colors too.
Yeah, I like that the humor in this was geared more toward Bewitched, since this was the kind of the framework for this episode. So where the first one leaned a lot on the humor of the Dick Van Dyke Show, this one leaned more on Bewitched, even with the with the setup and the magic show and all that stuff. So all of that was a lot of fun. Agnes still very suspicious to me. The thing with the radio, that's the agent from Ant-Man and the Wasp that's talking through the radio. That's his voice. So I'm very curious about that. I'm assuming he's with S.W.O.R.D. In the comics, he is with a different agency altogether, but we're not going to get into all the comic book stuff right now. But yeah, I'm very curious about where all this is going.
Delighted to see Emma Caulfield in something. I'm sorry, I wouldn't have picked her out like as quickly as you did.
I think it was the hair.
Definitely the hair.
But I recognized her face from a distance, and then as soon as we got the close up, I was like, "Yep, I was right."
Yep.
Emma Caulfield, by the way, Anya from Buffy. If you're not a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, what are you doing? You've missed a great show. Go back and check that out. But yeah, fan of hers from that series. So good to see her getting work here with Marvel. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So many questions, so many more questions than answers so far. Not that that's unexpected.
Yeah. I fully expect this to be one of those other series, like after we've seen the whole thing, that we will go back and say, okay, that's what that meant. That's what that meant. Okay, we understand now. Maybe we'll actually go through and watch it. How many episodes are there of this?
I do not recall.
I feel like it's anywhere between
more than the other series that they've announced. So I believe this is either 10 or 12.
Okay, I wanted to say definitely more than 6. 8 sounded nice, but I'm hoping 10 or 12. That sounds great.
I think maybe 10 is the sweet spot. But I'm curious about where this is going. Definitely, and really happy again with the acting here. Everybody's so in the spirit of those sorts of episodes until something weird happens and they're not supposed to be.
Yeah,
and then it's so jarring because everybody's reacting the way that they would to something that bizarre happening.
Yeah, so that's just, so great. I love the way that they're putting this together and just how jarring that is.
I will say it's interesting that they're shelling out cash for actual pop songs of these eras. So
it's Disney. Like I said, they can take whole piles of cash and throw them in fireplaces just to warm their sets.
Last episode we got Yakety Yak. This we got Help Me Rhonda, which is cool, and also very cool that they went from Help Me Rhonda to Wanda. Wanda. That was a cool transition as well.
I wonder what the Yakety Yak was.
I don't know. But yeah, very, very interesting. Digging the vibe of this show so far because it's so weird. It is not what you would expect from an MCU property. And because of that, I think it's really pulled me in already.
Yeah.
Like, where is this thing going?
For sure.
And the fact that it's being so true to the tropes of the era that it's representing.
Yeah. I feel like, though, there's a certain thing, though, like, you have to have, is it me? Or do I feel like you had to have watched at least some of the MCU? This cannot be your first introduction to the MCU. Like, if you are watching this show, you are a fan of something in the MCU.
I agree.
And you know who Wanda and Vision are. So this, like, if you were trying, like, I've got my best friend, and she never watches YouTube, so she won't see this. But I'll tell her that I talked about her, and she knows nothing about pop culture, and I love her deeply. But it's like, if I tried to make something be something that she watched, this wouldn't be it, because she would not know what was happening. Right. I mean, we don't know what's happening, but we know these characters, and so we can, and we have a certain expectation of the MCU and the product quality that we're watching and kind of the entertainment value that we've come to expect. So that's one thing, but this can't be somebody's first introduction to anything in the MCU.
The other side of that I have to ask is, even if you know the MCU, even if you're a big fan of Wanda and Vision and you jumped into this show, but you don't know the shows that they're referencing, do you understand how much work is going on in this series to make these episodes fit
that's something to
a
ask
certain
as well.
model? So that's interesting too, because there are a lot of people that are not. I mean, even me, I would not have seen the Dick Van Dyke Show or Bewitched without it being in a rerun.
Yeah.
So even I'm too old, really, to have seen those shows when they were on the air.
Young. You're too young to have seen them when they were on the air.
Yes. Sorry. I'm too young to have seen them on the air.
We're old, but not that old.
Right.
But I didn't actually watch any of Dick Van Dyke until you had actually shown me some episodes of it. Mm-hmm. I did watch some Bewitched. I feel like Brady Bunch was kind of another scenery that we saw.
I think we saw, and there definitely some family ties, and I think I've heard that there's going to be some Fuller House nods, which was fun for her because Fuller, whatever.
That house in San Francisco.
That house, because of her sisters being attached to that show. I believe that was a
so there are some shows that people, fans of the MCU, like, would never have seen unless they even peruse some of the cable networks that showed the reruns. So it's that's an interesting thing too. Like, how in depth are the references that people may or may not get.
But, I think that may be a good thing, because if you're a younger viewer and you don't have a frame of reference for the Dick Van Dyke Show, if you like this or this episode that was heavily borrowed from Bewitched. So if you like the vibe of it, then you might want to go check out the Dick Van Dyke Show or Bewitched or whatever, or some of these other shows that they're going to
a lot of audiences today, might find those to be way too cheesy. And I
there's nothing wrong with cheese.
No, there really isn't. A lot of those shows, it's not the same type of entertainment that we have on TV right now. It's not Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, all that. Orange is the New Black. Not everything had to be gritty back then. The sitcom dilemmas that were solved in 30 minutes or 60 minutes were great back then, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Sure.
It's like popcorn for your brain.
I'm going back through right now with our children. I'm watching a lot of Little House on the Prairie because it is a family-friendly show that teaches, morality. There are lots of moral lessons, lots of value lessons there about hard work and dedication to your family and those kinds of things. And it's just a show that I know is not going to be objectionable to sit down and watch with my kids. And so there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with, good old-fashioned cheesy entertainment. Yeah. And I, myself, there's a band that I like that uses a lot of references from authors and things in their lyrics. And I've picked up several authors that I ended up really liking because I dug out where this lyric came from or where this line came from. And it's like, oh, it came from this author. So I went and read Frederick Buechner, or I went and read Chesterton, or I went and read whoever. And it's like, okay, well that, now I found somebody that I like to read too. So it may be that some people latch on to some of these older shows, even if it's something as recent as a Full House or a Family Ties or whatever. It might be fun for people to gravitate toward those things just classics. To see where some of these ideas came from.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's going to do it for us. We will be back with episode 3 next week. You'll find it right here. And if you like this sort of content, what do they need to do, Heidi?
We need to get a thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the channel.
If you haven't already.
Hit the bell icon.
That's supposed to do something. I'm guessing it rings somebody's bell somewhere.
You get an email or some sort of notification that your favorite channel has put. I get notifications from a couple of places that I subscribe to. I do.
All right.
So
well, you can give it a shot and see. Who knows?
Find out when we drop something else. We've done some. What do we call those? When we're live and we put something up live.
Premieres.
Yeah, we've done some premieres. Just kind of testing that out. That function on YouTube. So we did one of those on New Year's Eve, and it was really great to chat along with the few people that did join us. Then thank you for spending your New Year's with us.
That's right. And if you want to see the full length reaction to this or anything else that we do a reaction to, you can find those on Patreon. That link is always down in the description. And if you'd like to support the channel, but you don't want to do a monthly Patreon thing, you can use Cash App and send us a one-time gift, or you can just keep watching because that helps us out too.
Absolutely.
That's it for us. Until next time, folks.
Bye.
Bye.